Jim, welcome to Behind the Scenes. Could you tell us about the electronic media broadcasting program here at Delta College?
Well, broadcasting as a curriculum has been around since the early days of the college. Broadcasting itself, nearly a century old, and we have been teaching it in one way, shape, or form since the early days of Delta. Back then, it had been more traditional, the terrestrial broadcasting of television and or radio. In fact, for several years, that was really the way to go in instruction and into the industry. You went into television, you went into radio, or some variation of production into that. That was more recently, it was called broadcasting radio and television. Even before it was EMB, through the late 90s, it was BRT. And to kind of keep up with the changing industry and the upgrading of the industry moving to digital, we moved that over to EMB in 2004, I believe, to better reflect changes and how we were preparing our students for those changes.
You touched on it a little bit, but could you tell us more about what students are learning right now?
It does run the gamut between the traditional radio and television broadcasting, primarily television now. Everything from hands-on with the cameras in a field environment where they're shooting different projects and editing those projects, to a lot of hands-on stuff in the studio environment as well. So we're preparing them for these traditional roles. But above and beyond that, we're moving them into some multimedia and more digital realms with the higher end editing, with digital compositing with regards to how that plays into video as well. And we're beginning to branch even further into more specializations into audio as well.
What special projects might the students work on?
There's a lot of hands-on stuff that the students do in their particular courses, geared toward the outcomes of that individual course. A lot of individual projects that range from the creation of commercials or public service announcements to news stories to music videos, things that we try to make that hands-on learning fun. Outside of the curriculum though, the students have a chance to volunteer for any number of special things that we work with the TV station, most notably the annual commencement ceremony. Our students get together for that and run cameras, produce, direct, and help create the program not only for the TV station, but create the video feed for the college to serve overflow areas as well. We also do and have done in the past things like basketball games. We do a music program which features local artists called Cue the Music. And all of these things the students have the chance to come in and help with that's outside of their typical classroom activities but gain experience at the same time.
And can you tell us about how many faculty teach in the program and their backgrounds?
We have 2 full-time faculty in the program, myself and Kim Wells, and we both come from television-based backgrounds, although I've got experience in both radio, TV, and independent production. Kim comes from a journalistic background and television as well. In addition to that, we have 3 adjuncts teaching as well, and they all have backgrounds in the professional field that helps lend to this. And that's something that's always been very important to the program. And as we've worked to build this over the past 15 years, one of the stresses has been that the instructors have that real world experience to bring to the classroom. Not only are we credentialed to teach, but we have that ability. When I'm teaching a television news class, for example, I can go back and say, I did this in this particular way. This is how this is done from my experience based on the commercial stations I worked at. And so that's important to be able to get across to the students, because not only we're giving them the technical knowledge, not only are we giving them the aesthetic knowledge, but we're giving them the experience as well.
EMB is an associate's program, but are there opportunities for the students to transfer to perhaps get their bachelor's, and what sort of schools might they choose?
The associate level degree that we offer is really half of our mission statement. One is to give the student the degree and give them the adequate amount of experience to enter the workforce at that level. And we have students that have done that and have been successful leaving with the associates. We have a graduate who is a news producer in South Florida. We have another who's a chief videographer in Lansing. So that level with the degree gets them that entry-level experience. The second half of that, though, is the transferability that you mentioned. We have articulation agreements set up with several 4-year universities and some that work very closely with us with their programs to ensure that the student completing the associate level program and then a little bit more of a macro agreement can transfer in at a junior level. Ferris State University is one of them that we work very closely with. But we also have agreements with Northern Michigan University, and we have successfully transferred students to U of M Flint and to Grand Valley as well.
Jim, we're sitting in the master control room of Delta Broadcasting. Can you tell us how the EMB program meshes with that?
It meshes very well. In fact, I don't think that we could exist as we do as a program without the broadcasting facility here at the same place and time. It's no accident that we're part of the humanities division, and they're primarily centered over in the arts wing, the S wing. But we, as the broadcasting, electronic media broadcasting, are here next to the television and radio stations. And that's because so much of the equipment is shared. And that actually aids a great deal for our students, because not only do we give them the background on the technical, but they can get hands-on experience at the TV station. They will work with Currently Speaking. They will work with the other productions that go on here. They'll work with us doing the commencement production. And all of that is really kind of giving an air of authenticity to what the students do, to say it's not just coursework, it's not just individual project work. It is something that could end up on the radio station, could end up on the TV station, so conceivably could become portfolio level work for the student.
It's been so interesting learning about EMB today. I'm wondering if I might be able to sit in on a class?
You could. In fact, Danielle Wright, one of our adjuncts, teaches a studio production class, which right off the bat gets the students in on the television station's switcher, and they learn studio operations. So that'd be a good one to start with.
That sounds great. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
All right, students, we have Leanne Govitz with us today. This is our EMB 152 Studio Productions course, and it's an introductory course where students learn how to run a production. And right now we are in production rehearsal, so you get to sit in the director's chair and, as we call it, the hot seat. So.
Oh, great.
All right.
Well, thank you.
So this is what we have. We have up here, we have the preview bus, and we have the live bus. And this is preview 1, camera 1, camera 2, and camera 3. And then we have live, camera 1, camera 2, and camera 3. Okay, so put your fingers here.
Okay.
So do preview, camera 1, camera 2, camera 3, and then live, camera 1.
Wait, where's live?
Right here, right up here.
Oh.
There you go. 1 and 2 and 3. Good.
Okay.
And
Wow.
as a director also, you are responsible for framing all of your shots.
Okay.
Making sure that your camera operators have zoomed in and focused before the production begins. And you just take it from there.
So let's say like at the Oscars, how many cameras would there be?
Oh, there's probably a lot of cameras at the Oscars. It's kind of like a sporting event where they have multiple cameras flying everywhere.
And
so
but it's the same idea, isn't it?
same idea times 1,000.
All right.
Well, probably not that many, but you can imagine.
Yes.
It's a big job for sure.
Excellent.
Okay, do you want to try and run a show?
No.
Oh, come on.
All
Be
right.
brave. Okay.
Okay. So.
Quiet on the set, please.
Thank you. Quiet on the set, please.
Cue talent.
Cue talent.
In.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Cue talent.
Cue talent.
Excellent. There we go. So kind of predict. Let's say, just take 3, because she already started
Take
talking.
3.
Right here.
Oh.
Take 3. Okay, ready 2. Put 2 in preview.
Ready 2.
Oh.
That's okay.
And take
You
2.
guys are over
Take
it.
2.